People are losing checking, savings, and credit cards to this new bank trick. Right now, thousands of people believe they are speaking with their bank, when in reality they are speaking with criminals who are preparing to empty every account they own. It begins with a phone call that feels completely normal. Your phone rings. The caller ID displays the exact name of your bank. The number matches the customer service number printed on the back of your debit card. Nothing feels suspicious. Nothing feels dangerous. In fact, the call feels reassuring because the person on the other end already knows your name, your bank, and even some of your recent transactions. Then comes the sentence designed to trigger panic. We detected suspicious activity on your account. Instantly, your attention locks onto every word. The caller explains that someone attempted to access your money, make a purchase, or withdraw cash from another state. Fortunately, they claim the bank stopped the transaction before any damage was done. Relief immediately replaces fear. You feel grateful that your bank caught the problem. You feel lucky. You feel protected. But that exact emotional shift is where the trap begins. The scammer is not trying to hack your account. The scammer is trying to make you trust them. Every second of the conversation is carefully designed to lower your defenses. They sound calm, professional, helpful. They answer questions confidently. They speak exactly like a real bank representative. Most victims later say the same thing. They never felt pressured. They never felt threatened. Everything sounded legitimate. That is why this scam has become so effective. The criminals understand human psychology better than most people understand their own banking apps. They know that fear creates urgency. They know that urgency destroys critical thinking. And they know that once you believe they are helping you, you will follow instructions without realizing what is happening. Imagine sitting at home, drinking coffee, paying bills, or watching television. Suddenly you receive a call informing you that your life savings may be at risk. Most people would listen carefully. Most people would cooperate. Most people would try to secure their money as quickly as possible. That natural reaction is exactly what turns ordinary people into victims. By the time many victims realize something is wrong, their checking account is empty, their savings account has been transferred, and their credit cards are already being used somewhere else. And what makes this even more terrifying is that the real theft has not started yet. The phone call is only the first step. What happens next is where people lose everything. The most frightening part of this scam is that criminals never need your password at the beginning. They do not break into your account like hackers in a movie. Instead, they convince you to hand them access yourself. Once trust has been established, the caller calmly explains that the bank needs to verify your identity before securing your account. Moments later, a text message arrives on your phone containing a verification code. Everything appears normal because the message actually comes from your real bank. The victim assumes this is part of a legitimate security process. The caller then says, "Please read the code back to me so I can confirm your identity." What the victim does not realize is that the scammer has already started a password reset or login request using the victim's account. That code is the final key needed to unlock the account. The moment the code is shared, the criminals gain access. But they do not stop there. They move with incredible speed because they know the victim may eventually become suspicious. Many operations involve multiple scammers working together. While one person keeps the victim busy on the phone, another accesses online banking, while a third begins transferring funds and changing account settings. Some victims are told that their money must be moved into a temporary secure account, while fraud investigators examine suspicious activity. The caller sounds confident and reassuring, explaining that this is a standard security procedure used to protect customers. Then a transfer request appears on the victim's banking app. Believing they are protecting their money, the victim approves it. In reality, they have just authorized a transfer directly to the criminal. Other victims are instructed to download what appears to be security software that will supposedly help the bank protect the account. Instead, the software gives scammers complete remote access to the victim's computer or smartphone. Suddenly, criminals can see passwords, banking apps, personal information, and financial records in real time. Some victims have reported watching their cursor move across the screen while scammers secretly navigate their accounts. Once inside, the criminals target everything connected to the victim's financial life. Checking accounts are drained first. Savings accounts are transferred next. Credit cards are maxed out. Investment accounts become targets. Retirement funds are accessed whenever possible. In less than an hour, years, or even decades of savings can disappear. The worst part is that victims often believe they are helping the bank during the entire process. By the time the call ends, the criminals are gone, the money is gone, and a devastating reality begins to unfold. Most people believe the nightmare ends once they realize they have been scammed, but for many victims, that is actually where the real damage begins. The moment they discover missing money, unauthorized transfers, or maxed out credit cards, they immediately contact their bank expecting a quick refund and an easy solution. Unfortunately, reality is often far more complicated. The bank starts an investigation and asks a simple question: did you provide the verification code? In many cases, the answer is yes. Did you approve the transfer? Again, the answer is yes. Did you download the software? Yes. From the bank's perspective, those actions appear authorized because the victim completed them personally. The fact that a scammer manipulated them into doing it does not always change how the transaction is initially classified. This is the moment many victims experience a second shock even bigger than the first one. Not only is their money gone, but they discover they may have to fight for months to recover it. Some spend countless hours gathering phone records, screenshots, transaction histories, police reports, and written statements. Others hire lawyers and consumer protection specialists. Meanwhile, bills continue arriving. Mortgage payments are due. Rent must be paid. Utility companies still expect payment. Credit card balances continue growing. Imagine waking up one morning with your savings account empty, your checking account drained, and your credit cards nearly maxed out. Then imagine being told the investigation may take weeks or even months. For some victims, the emotional damage becomes just as severe as the financial loss. They begin questioning every phone call, every text message, and every email they receive. Confidence disappears. Trust disappears. Some become afraid to answer their phones altogether. Others develop anxiety every time they log into their banking apps. The criminals understand this reality. They know many victims will be desperate for help after the first attack. That is why some criminal groups launch a second scam. Weeks after the original theft, victims receive another call from someone claiming to be from a fraud recovery department or government agency offering assistance. The caller promises they can recover the stolen money for a fee or a verification process. Once again, desperate victims are pulled into another trap. The criminals are not simply stealing money. They are exploiting fear, stress, confusion, and hope. And what makes this even more dangerous is that these scams continue evolving every year. The techniques become more sophisticated, the calls become more convincing, and the warning signs become harder to recognize. But there is a way to stop this scam before it ever begins, and that is exactly what we are going to uncover next. The good news is that this scam has one major weakness. No matter how sophisticated the criminals become, they still need your cooperation to succeed. The entire operation depends on convincing you to trust them long enough to hand over access. The moment you break that chain, the scam falls apart. The most important rule is simple: never trust caller ID. Modern scammers can make their calls appear to come from virtually any number, including the exact customer service number printed on the back of your bank card. If someone claims to be from your bank, assume nothing. Stay calm. Thank them for the information. Hang up immediately and call your bank yourself using the number on your physical card or the official banking app. This one habit alone can stop most of these attacks. The second rule is even more critical. Never share verification codes with anyone. Those codes are digital keys designed specifically for you. Real banks do not call customers and ask them to read verification codes over the phone. The moment someone requests a code, you should consider it a major warning sign. Another powerful defense is refusing to download software during unexpected phone calls. Criminals frequently disguise remote access programs as security tools. Once installed, those programs can give strangers complete visibility into your computer, smartphone, passwords, and financial accounts. Legitimate banks do not need remote access to your personal devices. If someone requests it, end the conversation immediately. You should also activate real-time account alerts for every transaction, no matter how small. Early detection can make the difference between stopping a scam at the first suspicious transaction and discovering the fraud after thousands of dollars have disappeared. Many security experts also recommend separating savings and checking accounts across different institutions whenever possible. Criminals often target linked accounts because one compromise can lead to complete financial devastation. Most importantly, do not allow urgency to control your decisions. Scammers create panic because panic shuts down critical thinking. Whenever someone demands immediate action, slow down. Take a breath. Verify independently. Ask questions. Contact the institution directly. Real fraud departments want customers to verify information. Criminals want customers to react emotionally. That distinction can save your entire financial future. The reality is that these scams will continue evolving because they remain extremely profitable for criminals. New scripts will appear. New technologies will emerge. New psychological tricks will be developed. But every version depends on the same weakness: human trust. Once you understand how the scam works, you become a far more difficult target. Knowledge is the firewall scammers fear most. And sometimes one simple decision to hang up the phone can save everything you have worked a lifetime to build.